So let's talk about Epic. Um, I know I had several of you guys asking about my trip to Epic and what it was like, what I liked, what I didn't like, all those kinds of things. So uh, feel free if you guys have questions or like want to know things, let me know in the comments. But I'm just gonna kind of talk through what we did and what I went on and what I thought was good and what I liked and my experience and all that kind of thing. So I did have a good time, Wags. Yes, I did. It was, and I told this to Kirk, it was overwhelming. I hadn't been in a completely new theme park like that in a really long time. Well, I take that back. Kings Island was relatively new for us, but I kind of left the navigating of that park to Andrew, to my husband. So I didn't feel as stressed out going to Kings Island for the first time as I did going to Epic for the first time, because it was kind of a last minute decision. My wonderful pal Katie O and I went together, and it was kind of our plans kind of came together a little bit last minute. So it was I didn't have a ton of time to prep, which, like, you guys know me. And I typically like to do a ton of research before I go. And I had watched live streams in YouTube and kind of had a general idea. But like being on the ground there was totally different. And not in a bad way, but just different new, right? So the first portal that we did was Nintendo. That was I wanted to go there first because I knew that that was going to be the spot that I liked the most. And talk about overwhelming. It is so loud in there. Don't get me wrong, it was my favorite portal. I loved the Nintendo area, but it is so loud in there. The music is just dialed up to 11 at all times. But it's so cool to get to go in and see all of these things that, I grew up watching on a screen, right? Watching and seeing all of these creatures come to life was really, really cool. So I'll just go through, we didn't do these all like, we didn't go to one portal and do everything and then the next portal and do everything. We hopped around a little bit, but we did all three. I did all three attractions in Super Nintendo. The Yoshi ride was adorable. I know that people are like, it's kind of boring. It's just like a little kid ride. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so stinking cute. My kids and my husband are going to love it because it's all Yoshi and we're a huge like Yoshi family. But I thought it was so well done with the little storyline and the all of the animatronics and the theming and the music and the atmosphere. So super cute. Loved that one. Donkey Kong, the Donkey Kong area was fun. How you got to like go into like a secondary portal inside of there, which was really cute. The minecart ride was fun. It was a lot more jostly than I expected. I expected it to be a little bit smoother, almost more like a Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, where it was kind of like I expected the smooth kind of nature of that. It was not that at all. The theming was awesome. It was super fun. I laughed the entire time just because I was just enjoying myself and having so much fun on that one. Theming was really, really great, but I just wasn't expecting how like side to side jostly it was. Yeah, very cute. You kept pushing all the buttons on Yoshi. Yeah, no, me too, Anna. I was like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? So that was super, super fun. And then the Mario Kart, what is it called? Bowser's Challenge, maybe? I think the Mario Kart ride. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite ride in that area. It was so cool. And now I'm a huge Mario Kart person. So, that was like my jam because of all of the Mario IP, Nintendo IP, like Mario Kart is the game that I play. So that was so fun because they take you through so many of the like iconic courses And it was so fun to like, you have the little Mario hat headband and the little like VR goggles essentially that you like plug into. And that was so cute and so much fun. So I loved that. I got super excited. Katie and I had a good time riding that. And then, towards the end, you get to Rainbow Row. And I was like, is that Rainbow Road? I was so excited. Super cute. I loved it. Really enjoyed that one for sure. So that was Nintendo. Oh, we did eat at Toadstool Cafe. Food was pretty good. The fries there were delicious. I'm not a French fry girl, and the fries there were delicious. I loved the theming inside. I loved the windows in there and how like some of them look into the kitchen and some of them look like outside into like, I don't know, Toad Land. I don't know what it's called. Back out and kind of you can see the atmosphere and the landscaping and stuff. That was really cute. You wanted to go in and look at Toadstool, but they wouldn't even let us. Like, yeah, we had to wait. Gosh, we waited in line to even order or to even be sat for like, I don't know, it was probably a half hour, I think. I think it was probably a half hour that we waited in line. It was packed, yes. So the day that we went, was actually like borderline sold out, because we couldn't get like the tickets online. Yeah, about a half hour. The tickets online were not showing as available, but we were able to buy them in person at the ticket booth. So it was very busy the day that we went. But the nice thing was we knew we were going to be able to get on stuff, and Katie kind of had been before. So she was like, we'll be able to get on stuff later in the day, which was good. So that was kind of Nintendo. Second portal that we did was Isle of Berk. We did the show in there, was super cool. Love the technology in there. Absolutely amazing to experience that. The songs were cute. It didn't like, I don't know. I liked the show. It didn't blow me away like the first time that I saw like Finding Nemo or the first time that I saw Festival of the Lion King. If that makes sense. And it could just be like, I love How to Train Your Dragon, but it could just be my preference for IP. But the show itself was really cute. I liked the songs. The storyline felt a little rushed, but I understand it's like it's a theme park show, so like that makes sense, right? But really liked that. There are 3 rides in that portal, and I actually only ended up doing one of them. You cried even the second time. Yeah, it's a cute show. Only ended up doing one of them. I did not do fire drill because I did not want to get wet. But I did stand on the bridge and kind of, watch the boats go through for that one. I opted out of doing Dragon Rally Racers, because I couldn't do any more spinning and it was later in the day and I was like, nope, I'll just watch it. So I opted out of that one, but Hiccup's Winged Gliders was my absolute favorite ride at Epic. That coaster is so well done. It's so well themed. It's just the ride itself is so much fun. Oh, I loved it. We ended up riding it twice, and I'm so glad we did because we rode it once during the day and then once at night. So we got to experience it both ways, and that was super fun. Loved that ride. Absolutely loved that ride. So that for me was like, that was it. That was the ride for me. So yeah, spent a little bit more time walking around. Made you feel all the emotions. You're gonna love it. Yeah, I didn't know Toothless was on it. I nearly cried again, Anna. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like you're riding Toothless. Like that's what it's like, right? You're with Hiccup on the back of a dragon, which is just so fun. And again, the coaster itself is just, without the theming, it's a fun coaster. But like when you add the theming, it just knocked my socks off. So much fun. So I loved that. You're the only one that's making me want to go to Epic. I'm just telling you my experience, Wags. So, and again, happy to answer questions if you guys have questions. So yeah, that was most of what we did in Burke. And again, we were there and then we left for a little while and then we came back because Hiccups was the last ride of the night for us. And we decided to go back and do that. Let's see. Let's talk about Celestial Park. I loved the carousel. Oh my gosh. So much fun. And I knew I would because like after I saw videos and photos of that carousel, I was like, yes, that is like right up my alley. Loved the carousel. Absolutely had a blast riding that. Road Stardust Racers. It was intense. I haven't ridden many big coasters since like a decade ago, probably. I grew up going to Cedar Point, grew up riding coasters, love coasters, never had any issues on them. Haven't really ridden anything but Disney coasters up until this summer. I did ride one of the big coasters at Kings Island with my oldest, and kind of felt like not sick afterwards, but like I could feel it in my head, right? And Stardust was the same for me. Super fun ride. Loved the coaster, but it was one of those that like borderline gave me a headache. And so I was like, I don't need to ride that again. Super fun. I loved watching it at night from across the park and watching, being able to see it all lit up and everything was super cool. I like the theme, but I wish they had done more with it. The whole premise is that it's supposed to be like you're chasing a comet, and I got that from the entryway. There's some little quotes on like the archways as you go in. So I got that from the entryway, but other than that, I wish they had done more with it. As far as the theme goes, because like I'm a theme girl, which is why I loved Epic, because the themes overall are fantastic, but I wish they had done more with the theme for that. My personal preference with that. Did you see the flux capacitor on the back? I don't know what a flux capacitor is, Anna, so maybe. Maybe I did. I don't know. But yeah, so those are the two attractions in Celestial Park from Back to the Future. If I had seen that movie, I would know what that is, Anna. I have not seen Back to the Future. You have to remember, I'm not a Universal person. I haven't seen most of the IP at the Universal Parks, so I haven't seen that one. I'm sorry. Andrew. I don't like watching movies, you guys. I fall asleep really easily. If it's more than 90 minutes, I'm out. And listen, Andrew, that is also not one that you have like really watched either. So don't even pretend like, I don't think I've ever seen you watch Back to the Future in the 10 plus years that we've been together. Right, Wags? I get too tired. Between that, The Godfather, Jurassic Park, The Sandlot. Listen, okay? I watch a lot of Disney movies, okay? And a lot of animated movies. I'm sorry. Yeah, Sarah, I know. That one's really bad because I have a baseball-obsessed husband and I haven't seen it. I hear you, Sarah. Yeah, Deborah, that's it. Okay. Stop. This isn't about my movie preferences, okay? This is supposed to be about Epic Universe. There's lots of movies I haven't seen, okay? We're just going to leave it at that. We're just going to leave it at that. He's throwing me under the bus is what he's doing. He's not giving you tea. He's airing out my lack of movie viewing. We can try Anna, but I will probably fall asleep. I'm being so for real. When I watch these Marvel movies, because I've been trying, I haven't watched one in a really long time, but when I have watched Marvel movies, I take at least 3 nights to watch them. Oh, what a coincidence. Sandlot is now the only thing that will play on my TVs. Wow, Katie. Oh my gosh, you guys. I can't. I can't. Too funny. So, there's your answer to your question, Anna. I have not. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Moving on. Katie's got this. The next portal was Darkmoor. So the monsters area. This area was pretty cool. We went in close to like sunsetty, so like that timing was really really great. Loved the just the overall vibe in there. My favorite part were these like wandering storytellers that were in there that were like troubadour musicians. So cool, super fun. We did both attractions in there, Curse of the Werewolf and Monsters Unchained. Monsters Unchained is technologically one of the best rides I've ever been on. It also scared the pants off of me. I am not a monster person. I do not like jump scares. That ride is filled with jump scares. It's incredibly immersive. The ride is absolutely insane, right? But I almost lost my voice because I was screaming so much. I never scream on rides. I might do like the woohoo kind of like riding the coaster experience, right? Where it's like thrilling. No, I was scared. I was scared. That was an experience that I have not ever had in a theme park. And I was like cracking up, but also screaming from being scared on it at the same time. So would I go on it again? Maybe. Definitely my kids cannot go on that one. That will be too much for them to handle. That's the only ride that we did at Epic that they won't be able to handle. And they are 7 and 9, and they like the coasters at Disney. But that one will be too much for them, just content wise. It's scary. But I loved the storyline and the storytelling and how immersive it was. Really, really good. And then we did Curse of the Werewolf. Cute. I really liked, again, the theming of the coaster was super fun. I was really anxious going into it because we did Monsters Unchained first, and I didn't know what to expect after having that experience at Monsters Unchained. I didn't know what to expect for Curse of the Werewolf. So I was really, really anxious going into it, but I really, really liked it. It was a lot of fun. And it was the thing about that one though is like it's a very short ride. So it's a coaster, but like I wouldn't wait more than 25, maybe 30 minutes for that coaster just because it's very, very short. Very, very short. But I enjoyed it. The ride vehicles are really cool because they are 4-seaters, but you're back to back, and it kind of free spins as you go around the track, which is really, really cool. Yeah, single rider for the win. That's the one thing that I noticed with this park is most of the rides have a single rider line, which is really, really great. Now, not all of them are really, really quick single rider lines. We did the single rider line for Minecart Madness, and it was like a 50-minute wait still in single rider. It was less than the 100 and whatever minute wait it was for standby, but definitely not super, super quick. So tons and tons and tons of single rider lines there, which are super helpful. So yeah, that was kind of Darkmoor. I did see Anna asked about, yes, it was the violinists walking around. They're like storytellers inside of Darkmoor that were really, really cool. I wish I had had more time to stop and listen and experience that, because that was really cool. We kind of walked past it and we're like, what's going on with that? And I was distracted because he was walking around playing a violin. So there was a team member that was like his, I want to say handler because that's like the character term, but like that's the best way I can think about it. And so I said, okay, tell me like what's going on. And she was so lovely, and she was like, yeah, so we have these, these storytellers that wander in Darkmoor, and they all have a different story, and they all tie into the story of Darkmoor differently. So it sounds like there are several different violinists that come out, and each of them has a different story to tell, which I love that. I think that's so fun and so cool. And I love that they like actually play, like they actually wander and play their instruments and stuff. So they're like storytelling troubadours kind of, which I'm a music person, so like that was super, super cool. We did see Igor. We didn't have a huge interaction with him. We saw him when he like first came out to kind of start his set, and then he wandered the other way towards like the front area of Darkmoor, and we were wandering to go get on Monsters Unchained. It was the B-list Igor, Katie. um, I did have a very lovely interaction with the Invisible Man, actually. He was standing in a doorway. He was in bandages, so I could see him. But he was standing just alone in the doorway, and so I was like, I'm gonna go talk to him and go see what's going on. So I walked over, and he was funny. He was telling me about how he's glad that he's not surrounded by idiots currently, when I had walked up to him because there was nobody else around, and I was like, oh, okay. And he was telling me about his plan to try to get people to drink his elixir. And again, I don't know anything about Monster IP. This may be his storyline, and I just don't know anything about it. And then he wondered if I had seen Dracula, and I said, well, the last time I saw Dracula was inside the castle. And he said, oh, so he didn't escape. And I said, no, not that I'm aware of. He's like, okay, well, keep an eye out for him. So super fun interaction with the Invisible Man. Yeah, I think that was it inside of Darkmoor. Lots of smiling and nodding. It was fun. Kelly, if you can interact with any Disney character, you can interact with these characters at Epic, right? Even if you, like I said, I don't know his storyline. So like it was fine. Yeah, we did. So we walked in like as the sun was setting, and by the time we had finished everything, it was dark. So it was cool to see the Frankenstein Manor, I think is what the castle's called, right? At nighttime with all the lights and everything was pretty cool. And then as far as Kelly could interact with a wall. And then as far as Harry Potter, we did walk through. I opted out of riding Ministry of Magic. But Katie wanted to walk through, so we did walk through the space and kind of look around. Inside of Ministry of Magic is pretty cool. The theming of the, what do they call it, the atrium, was really neat, so that was cool too. Did you get to watch the windmill catch on fire? Okay, so we were impatient, Ty. And we missed it. So we kept like waiting and waiting and waiting for it to go, because we thought it was going to go, I think it was like at 8:00. We're like, oh, it's going to go on the hour. Like it has to go on the hour. Well, then it didn't go. And it was like 8:01, 8:02, 8:03. And I was like, okay, I don't want to I don't want to stand here anymore. And then as we were like almost out of the area, we heard the like bells go off. And I was like, oh, there's the bells. It's going to light on fire now. I was impatient. It was late. I was tired. It was the end of the night. Because then what did we do? After that, oh, we went to walk through Ministry, and then we went back to Burke. So I didn't want to miss riding Hiccups again. Oh, I didn't say that when we were supposed to be like, yeah, it's like every 15 to 20. And it was like, I think it was 8:05 is when it went off that time. And I was like, oh, well. And then I failed to mention earlier with Celestial, we did eat dinner at Pizza Moon. So I loved it in there. It's like a weird Monty Python meets German pop-up book inside, and I loved it. It was super quirky and very fun inside of Pizza Moon, so that was fun. Favorite portal design? Ooh, Nintendo. Nintendo going the into the tube, right? Uh Very, very cool. It is Moulin Rouge-esque. Yes, that too, Anna. That's a good comparison too. But I loved it. The atmosphere in there was so cool. I loved all of the little moving statues and stuff inside Pizza Moon. Super fun. We did not go into the Starbucks. We did not. I walked past it and saw it, but we didn't go into the Starbucks. We went into the Harry Potter area. I didn't do Ministry of Magic. We walked around and walked into the atrium area of the queue because they have, so like if you're someone that doesn't want to ride the ride, but you want to see the inside, there is a specific queue that they can send you down, which was good to know. So we walked in and looked around and kind of took it all in and then just exited because we opted out of the ride. Hot take, favorite ride, the escalator in the Mario portal. There's so many dang stairs in the Nintendo portal. Oh my gosh. So many stairs. Ugh. My legs were just done by the end of the night. I was like, there's so many stairs. Yeah, so Wags, if you're someone that's like, because I know that some people have said that Ministry of Magic has like makes them feel sick, kind of in the same way that some of the other Harry Potter rides do. You can go in and just look around if you want to. So keep that in mind. You just have to ask. We just asked at the entrance. I just went up to the team member and said, hey, is there a possibility? Like, I'm not interested in riding. I just want to go look around. And she was like, oh yeah, yeah. And they have 4 lines, right? So they have like standby queue, express queue, single rider queue, maybe. And then there's a 4th one. The 4th one led us along the wall, and we still got to go through the fireplace, through the Flu Network. We got to go through there still and right into the atrium. And then, excuse me, we just exited out where the ride exit is. So like when the people come off the ride, we ended up with them. So that was nice. Yeah, Ty, I was the same way from the Mario 64 game. The paintings at the top inside Princess Peach Castle were so nostalgic. We got to the top and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Because it was like so nostalgic to see those paintings from that game that I had like totally forgot about from when I was in like elementary school. It is nice that they give you all of the option to see the queue without riding, right? Because like that's part of the experience, right? That's what a lot of people have been talking about, is like getting to go into the ministry. So I agree with that for sure. But yeah, so I think, oh, and then we did sort of halfway watch and listen to, they have a little fountain show at the end of the night. They desperately need a nighttime show there to kind of like finalize that. Initially Bliss, thank you for the follow. To like just finalize the day, right? They have that little fountain show, but like they need something. They need something else. I like that the show at the end of the night plays the music from all of the different portals and kind of like wraps it up together, but they desperately need something at the end of the night to kind of send us off with a bang, even if it's just like adding more to the fountain show. They did drones and fireworks at the opening, like for the opening ceremony or whatever, but like that's the only time that they did it. They need something. It's hot and no shaded areas. Wags, I'm trying to think. It was cloudy the day that we went. and not super hot. So I really think it depends on when you go. Um, I didn't necessarily notice a lack of shade the day that we went. I know that other people have talked about that, but I didn't necessarily notice it. But again, it wasn't 98 degrees and sunny the whole day. So I didn't particularly notice no shade, but I think it probably greatly differs depending on what day or what time of the year that you go. The fountain show we saw was really good. It used, yeah, so we could hear it as we were walking out that it was like using the music from all the portals and the colors and stuff, which is cool. I was just kind of like, that's cool. I expected something a little bit more. Just that was kind of my expectation. But I guess thinking about it, Universal doesn't do big nighttime shows as much as Disney does. So I guess that kind of makes sense in that way, that like Universal is also just like not known for doing like big nighttime fireworks shows. I don't know. Ooh, thank you, Eggs. That matched my purple spirit jersey. The hat of joy. I love that. Thank you, Wags. That was so sweet of you. It is a big Disney thing, right? And maybe just because I'm such a Disney person, I'm like, I want that, Like I want to have the big the big ending show, the big bang at the end of the day, right? So yeah, overall had a really really great experience. Um Rode everything except for 3 rides. 2 by choice, 1 because I just couldn't do spinning at the end of the night when we went to go back to Burke. So I didn't get to do Dragon Rally Racers. I forget the name of that one, but didn't do that one. Um, I definitely want to take my kids. My kids are also big Nintendo kids, and they also like How to Train Your Dragon. So we'll go for those 2 portals mostly. Um, we'll take them into Dark Universe. My husband really wants to see Dark Universe, so we'll take them into there. They'll like the Curse of the Werewolf ride. Um, so that one they'll like. Even if they don't like the IP, they'll like the ride itself. So that'll be fun. You don't have to spin on that ride though. It's actually hard to spin, right? But the whole thing spins, right? Am I wrong in thinking that? The whole thing spins. Like the whole mechanism. Like I know like the individual cards spin, but like the whole thing kind of like spins you around. At least that was the vibe I got from watching it. So such a great park, but I truly realize I'm a Disney girl over uni. Yeah, and I am too. Just preference with the IP that I like. I just have a preference of Disney over Universal. But I mean, Epic Universe it goes around like a swing. Okay, so spinning, but not fast spinning. I get that. I get that. Um, I just really, I am drawn to the Disney IP. And so I like Disney over Universal. Epic is the most appealing Universal park to me, and probably the one that I'll take my kids to first. Actually, I know it's the one that I'll take my kids to first. They are not interested in any of the other IP that's at the other 2 Universal parks. They want to go for Super Nintendo. They want to go for How to Train Your Dragon. So the other IP at the other Universal parks just doesn't appeal to them. So I think Epic was really smart in the choices that they made for their portals, and Universal was really really smart with that, because it's got such a wide range of draw, and it's a newer audience draw than the stuff that they have at their other parks. So I think it was super super smart of them to do. So yeah, that's kind of my take on Epic. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. So I'm gonna cut that conversation. I lost my AirPod. I'm gonna cut that conversation, and I'll throw it up on our YouTube for anyone who wants to know my take on Epic. if you could do an AP just for Epic. Yeah. And I don't know whether or not they'll do that. I think they'll probably try to do one do it. They'll include it in with the other parks because they want people to go to the other parks and not just to Epic. Not a fan of Uni or IOA. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Good parks, but you just relax and vibe better at Disney. Yeah. You just want to hang in Burke and Dark Universe and eat food. I mean, that's fair. The food there is really, really good. You know, we got a small portion of it, but from everyone that I've heard that has gone, the food is like next level there. So that makes sense. That makes sense. And I think, you know, having the annual pass will give you more of the freedom to not feel like you have to rush through everything. I did see that, Katie. So yeah, they announced now that with multi-day tickets at Universal, you're not limited to just one day at Epic. You can use more than one day at Epic, which I think is an interesting move going into the holidays. I think Epic is going to be slammed from now through the end of the year. And then we'll see what they do after that. I mean, I haven't been following the trends of ticket sales at Epic to know how they're doing. I just know that like last week was sold out almost every day, or near sold out almost every day. But I don't know. Kicked my tripod. I don't know what else what the ticket sales have been looked at. There's whole weeks sold out already for November, December. Oh, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. So it's so interesting to me that they did that now and that they didn't wait and do that after the new year. I don't know. I don't know. Just interesting tactics. I don't know enough about I can make a lot of educated guesses about decisions that Disney makes. I don't know Universal enough. Theme park entity know to try to rationalize what they're doing. So it's interesting to hear that they did that starting today before the holidays. I don't know. We'll see. So, well, thank you guys for hanging. Thanks for chatting about Epic with me. Thanks for listening to me yap. Thank you for supporting this lovely little podcast world we have over here. And I will see you next week. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.